start? You started?
Yes.
Gurave Gohora Chandraya Radhikaya Tadari Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutabada Kamalan Sri Guru Vaishnavacha Sri Rupam Sahagarajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Ganta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Ganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sade Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyeva Chapadidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivadari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Nama Eva Kevalam Kolam Nasteva Gatiranyata Madaram Madarebhyo Mangalebhyo Mangalam Pavanam Pavanebhyo Hare Nama Eva Kevalam Jaiti Jaiti Namananda Rupam Murare Viramidani Jada Ramadana Prajatiyatam Katam Apisakritatam Muktinam Pranam Ekanam Jivanam Bhushanam Me Jaiti Jaiti Namananda Rupam Murare Viramidani Jadharma Dhyana Pujadiyatam Katam Apisakritatam Muktinam Pranam Yat Param Amritam Ekam Jivanam Bhushanam Me Tavai Vasmi Najimam Tarvina Itti Vidyana Devi Tam Naimam Charantikam. So to just a short reading from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, because yesterday we had a program and last week also we had a Yagyan Samskar session and Adivas Puja. So recap from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Eastern section, second wave Sadhana Bhakti. So different limbs have been explained of Sadhana Bhakti. As we know that 64 items, 64 angas of devotional service. And many of them are referring to deity worship, actually more than half. And of course, ultimately, everything is for the pleasure of the Lord. Everything is for the pleasure of the deities. So glorification is there. So that was explained of smelling the incense offered to the Lord, smelling the garlands offered to the Lord, touching the deity. So that this, the good fortune of the pujaris, they can touch the deity. Just seeing the deity, that has been also explained. Seeing the artik of the Lord, seeing the festivals, hearing about the Lord, and expecting the Lord's mercy. So we have to pray for the Lord's mercy. In this regard, Rupa Goswami quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, famous verse, Tattenu kampam susumikshamano bhujane vatma kritam vipakam ridvag vabhavir vidan namaste jiveta yamukti pade sadayapak. Someone who earnestly waits for you to bestow your gracious mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with heart, words and body surely eligible for you, the shelter of liberation, for that is his rightful claim. So difficulties are there in the material world, but you have to tolerate and continue serving the Lord. Hridvag vabhavir, so one's heart, words and the body. And then dayavak, so mukti, liberation, so that is his rightful claim. So Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they have given a beautiful commentary also. So by engaging in devotional service, we may remember the Lord. We may meditate on the Lord, on the qualities of the Lord. Nam, Rup, Guna, Lila. So we chant the holy names, then we try to remember the Lord, and we try to try to remember the form of the Lord, and then we try to remember His wonderful qualities and then His pastimes. And then Dasyam is explained. So we should serve with this mood, Sambandha Gyan. That is our relationship, especially in the beginning. Krishna is our worshipable Lord and we are His servants. That is the general Dasyam. And then in more purified consciousness, on the spiritual platform, then we will realize our inclination towards the Lord in terms of our relationship. So there Dasyam is there again also. So the servants of the Lord. But then in Braj, there's more intimacy there, and then the friendship relationship is there, and then the parental relationship, and then the conjugal relationship. So here, Dasyam, so that we have discussed, and Sakyam, we also discussed. So two kinds of Dasyam has been explained, and then now two kinds of Sakyam are being described. Again here, so that has been explained. Vishwas and Sakyam. So trust and then actual relationship. So as practicing devotees also, we know we are the servants of Krishna. And then the more we advance, then we will feel that there's a closer relationship with the Lord. As the best friend. Because Krishna is always with us and He will always help us. No matter what. Even if sometimes the devotee is forgetting the Lord, but Krishna is not forgetting his devotee, especially if the devotee has nicely performed devotional service. That is also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that is the first type of Sakyam. So that is mentioned in CC also. in regards to Kala Krishna Das, who was with the Lord and serving, and so some friendship was there. And one time he was in difficulty, and he got bewildered by some gypsies who are luring him with a woman. So material energy is very strong, and one has to be careful. So there it has been explained. Glorious is the Lord who does not abandon his servant. And glorious is the servant who doesn't leave the Lord. So that is, of course, Dasya may be there to some extent, but then Sakyam is there also. Our Krishna is there always to help me, to protect me, no matter what. So especially the Lord, he will never forget his devotee. He will never abandon his devotee. Similarly, a true devotee, although some difficulty may be there, he may be disappointed, but he will not leave the Lord. So there's some intimacy there. So, but then the second one which is there, that is again in purified consciousness, in Braj Bhav, then the Gopas are there, the friends of Krishna, so they have the pure friendship. And they are real friends of Krishna, they are playing with Krishna. So Krishna is embracing them, they are embracing Krishna. As seen in the wonderful pastimes of Krishna and Braj. Morning time, sometimes the friends, they go to Krishna's palace, Krishna's father palace, Nandagaon. And they help a little bit when Krishna is being bathed, or because they just want to be around Krishna. There's so much love. And then they may take breakfast with Krishna, some of them. And then they go for the pasturing, to the pasturing grounds, fields, so taking out the cows and the calves. So intimate relationship is there, friendship is there. So 4 kinds of friends are described. So friends, so the eternal relationship is there, and these friends, they feel themselves very fortunate that Krishna is so near and dear to us. Of course, in all the relationship, Dasyam is there, that we are the servants of Krishna. That is there always also. But here in Sakyam, friendship is prominent. But then they serve there, they serve also. Like Maria Yashoda, she's serving Krishna, practically constantly, but in the mood of a mother, so in Vatsalya Bhav, parental affection. And the Gopi is the foremost of Krishna's associates. They're also serving. And so everything is included in the conjugal mellow. But then there's strong friendship also, as Krishna is my best friend. Sometimes some feelings of wanting to take care of Krishna just like a child. So Vatsalya Bhav will sometimes manifest. But Sthai Bhav, the permanent ecstasy, is the conjugal love towards Krishna, their relationship in conjugal love, exchange. So Sakyam is there. So the ordinary friends are there, friends of Krishna. Mostly they're younger than Krishna. And then some friends are there, they may be same age, even sometimes they may be a little elder. And so Just like Madhu Mangal is a friend of Krishna. Some think he's the best friend of Krishna. But no, actually he's not the best friend. Of course, from one point of view, Krishna is so kind, and everyone is thinking Krishna is my best friend, and they feel that they are Krishna's best friends. So Krishna is so merciful. At the same time, like Madhu Mangal, so he's actually from a Brahmana family. So therefore, he's thinking, yes, I'm there. I can give blessings to these gopas, to Krishna also. But then the friendship is still there, very strong. And then Priya Narvasak and then the most dear friends of Krishna there. So that is the pure form of Sakyam and Braj. So like Krishna's friends, 4 were considered most dear, of equal age than Krishna. Sudam, Sridam, Vasudam, Kinkini. And it is explained also that they are so close to Krishna, they are just like Krishna's self, Krishna's ego, Krishna's intelligence, and Krishna's body. Very dear to Krishna. And of course, they know Krishna's heart also, but they will not so much take part when the Krishna is then meeting with the gopis. At the Radhakund, for example, or night time, they are not there. But they know, but they will not try to even talk about that. Whereas those who are a little younger than Krishna, Subal, Arjun, Stoka Krishna, Gandharv, Ujjval, and so on. So they're 1.5 years younger. But their friendship is also very strong, and they also serve actually. When Krishna sometimes, or he's going every day to Radhakund at noon time, and then sometimes these Sakas, they also go with Krishna and do some seva for a little while. So that is Sakyam. Tatra adyam yatha mahabharate pratigyatavu govinda name bhakta pranashyati iti samsmita pranam sandharmayam. You know this verse? You don't know? And you know? This is aparadha kshama mantra after seva. You chant mantra hinam kriya hinam? Okay, one verse. Okay, good. And then one verse is there. After this is Pratigyadav Govinda Name Bhakta Parasati. It is samsmita Panam Samdhamyam Yaham. Oh Govinda! This is from Mahabharata. So this is trust, Vishwas, remembering. So that is remembering again. You promise that your devotee will never perish. I maintain my life. Jiva Goswami commentary, this is the statement of Draupadi. It will be shown later that since she is an associate of the Lord on the level of high prem, the statement is the result of elevated prem, not sadhana. So of course the eternal associates of Krishna, so they are nitya siddha, they do not perform sadhana. Although sometimes, just to set the example, they perform sadhana, especially in Gaur Lila you may see. So like the 6 Goswamis, they are eternal associates, but they perform sadhana, just to teach us, to show us how we should do sadhana. And so Draupadi's prem is high. So that is also actually one form of sakyam. Krishna is my very good friend. And so this verse has been actually used in the worship of the Lord, the pujaris. So they chant this verse every day. Of course, many verses are there. Aparadakshama mantra, specifically 7 are mentioned. There's a list of 7, and this is the last verse actually. Other verses may be there also, but these one are most famous. So further he's saying still, it may be used as an example of sadhana, since even those on the level of highest prem will sometimes act on the level of sadhana, so as explained. So many times the example of Draupadi is being mentioned. So in the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, so definition of pure bhakti is given. Which verse? Sunyam jnana karma navritam. You know this verse? By heart? Yeah? Okay. Anyabilashita sunyam. So, jnana karma navritam. So, the devotional service of the devotees were more advanced. So that is free from the propensity to engage in devotional service with a desire to get some result. So jnana karma, trying to get knowledge and then to be seen as a great scholar also. So that is not pure. Karma, so doing some seva but expecting something in return. Anukulina Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Ruttamam. So it should be anukul, as Krishna desires. Should be favorable for the service of the Lord. So in the beginning, Anya Abhilashita, Anya Abhilash. So there's no other desire. So but here the Anya Abhilashita, Anya Abhilash and then Ta is there. So in Sanskrit, so different verses are there, like this one, or Bhagavad Gita shlokas known as Anushtup. So it is mentioned that is actually the first, one of the first meters which were revealed. Anustup. So 8 vowels are there in each line. So sometimes something is added just so the line is complete. But then many times there's a meaning also there. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained. Anyabhilashita, ta, why it is there. And then he's giving the example of Draupadi. Because, so we should serve the Lord and not expect anything in return. So we know that Krishna will protect us, so we don't have to even say, Krishna, please protect me. Krishna will protect us. But then in great difficulty, if there's a great difficulty there, like Draupadi. So there was a gambling match between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, and so Yudhishthira was there, the head, so he was challenged by Duryodhana. But Duryodhana was not so expert, so he asked his uncle Shakuni, who was an expert cheater, to play for him. And he said, okay. And Yudhishthira, he was a good player, but simple, straightforward, not a cheater, not a liar. So Shakuni, so he was cheating also, somehow. And he won, and won, and won. Yudhishthira lost everything. The kingdom, all his possessions, himself, his brothers. So they were all servants of Duryodhana. And so then also Draupadi was there. And so then she was considered to be Duryodhana's also, because she belongs to the Pandavas. So then he asked his brother Dushashan, you bring her here. So he went there in the chamber, and actually she was just in her menstrual period. So she was dressed in a simple way, her hair was open. And in this condition, usually the lady will not go to the temple. They will not go to somebody else's house, especially not the Gurujan, the seniors. Of course, you have to see time, place, circumstances, but usually if possible. So exceptions may be there. If it is a festival, so you may still go for, the ladies may still go for darshan of the Lord in the temple. That may be natural. And at home the deities are there. It's not that you don't see the deities. Part of the family, the deity. So, or if nobody else is there, then the seva has to be done. But generally, so the injunction is there. So then Dushasana was going to take her, told her, you come. And she says, no, I'm in my period. No, still you have to come. She says, no. Then he grabbed her and pulled her. And she was, of course, trying to stop him, but she was, of course, as a woman, usually less strong. So she was dragged there, and then Duryodhana is telling Dushasana, you take out her dress, disrobe her. So which is a complete insult for a lady in an assembly of respectable person, or maybe even if they're not respectable, the persons, but still this is a great insult. And the Pandavas were furious. Arjuna and Bhim, so they were all sitting, but they stood up, grabbing the sword. And Yudhishthira telling, no, we cannot fight now. And they were somewhat angry at Yudhishthira, but they were obedient. And although they didn't agree with him, but still, with great difficulties, they calmed themselves. And then she was pulling. Then Dushasana was pulling her sari. And first she was holding, but then she was not able to hold. And then she just cried out, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, calling out to Govinda Damodar. So there's a Govinda Damodar Stotram by Bilva Mangal Thakur, 70 verse, ending always with Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. And so, in regards to this pastime of the Lord with Draupadi, so that verse is quoted, and it is there in the scriptures. This pastime is mentioned. So she put her arms out and she called out, and then Govinda was there and supplied the cloth, and he was pulling, and so much cloth was. So that is Anyabhilashita. If in great distress one is calling out to the Lord, so that is not considered to be wrong, or that, oh, why she's calling out, Krishna will protect anyhow. It is natural in such a situation that one will call out. So that Anyabhilashita Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explained in this commentary on a small book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. So Draupadi's Sakyam friendship is, and her love is high. So that is not a fault when she called out to him in great distress. And so then this prayer was also there. Okay, also actually in the Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna is there. And he's also saying Pratigyatava Govinda. And actually Krishna is actually also saying himself, Krishna, that my devotee will never perish. So still it will be used as an example of sadhanas, since even those on the level of highest prema will sometimes act on the level of sadhana. The next verse, which is taken from the section of Bhagavatam describing the Uttam devotees who are beyond sadhana, should also be understood in a similar way. Later this section of Bhagavatam concludes with the words Pranaya Rasamaya Dhritangri Padma. So that is actually from the 11th canto, where the 3 types of devotees are mentioned. Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam. So one who has thus captured the Supreme Lord within his heart is to be known as Bhagavad Pradhan, the most exalted of the Lord. So pranaya, so that is in prema vasta, the highest form of love, prem. And there, so first sneha is there in prem, this affection, deep and strong affection, prem, sneha, man, and then pranay, rag, anurag. So, pranaya rosamaya, so that is the strong love of high level of prem of the devotee towards the lotus feet of the Lord. Tata ekadashe cha, also from the 11th canto. Tribhuvana vibhava hetave pi akanta akunta smiti rajitatma suradi bhiya vimrigyat nachaladi bhagavat pararavindala lava nimishardam api yasa vaishnavangarya. The lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are sought even by the greatest of demigods, such as Brahma and Shiva, who have all accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their life and soul. A pure devotee of the Lord can never forget those lotus feet in any circumstances. He will not give up his shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord even for a single moment. Lava, nimish, ardam, not even for half a moment, even in exchange for the benediction of ruling the entire universe or taking the post of a devata. Lava nimish ardam. So lava is a fraction of a second. 1 second, one. So 1/11th part of a second, which is, that is love. Lava matra. Nimish. Or even half a moment, 1 moment. Jiva Goswami. Tribhuvana vibhave hetave, domination of the 3 worlds and causes of that domination, is used instead of Tribhuvana vibhavaya, domination of the 3 worlds, for emphasis. So here 2 sentences. Tribhuvana vibhava hetave. So domination of the 3 worlds and the causes of that domination. So the Supreme Lord is all-powerful, is the Lord of the 3 worlds, lower, middle or higher planetary systems. So the cause, hetave, hetu, the cause. So now there is Tribhuvana vibhavaya, domination of the 3 worlds. The meaning is, the devotee does not deviate from his remembrance of the Lord for the domination in the 3 worlds and even for the posts of those who bestow such powers. The singular form is used instead of Tribhuvana vibhava hetubhyam, according to the rule that dvandva compound with the collective meaning can alternatively be used in the singular case. So that is grammatical explanation. causes of domination, hetave. So that is singular. So, but here is he indicating that actually means also it may be different causes of domination. But hetave refers to one cause. So, but in one cause, so the others may be also included. That may also be meaning different causes. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The statement of the Siddha devotee Draupadi is not that of sadhana bhakti, and the statement of this verse as an expression of a Siddha bhakta on the Uttam bhakti level is also not sadhana bhakti. The Siddha bhaktas also partake of the angas of Sakya and Atmanivedanam. These angas are not exclusive to sadhana bhakti, it will be said. So in this world, the pure devotees, so they do not have to perform sadhana bhakti. At the same time, so just to set the example, they will perform sadhana bhakti. Dushkaratvena virale dve sakyatmani vedane kesamchit eva dhiranam labate sadhanar hatam. Friendship and offering the self and body are rare because of the difficulty in performance in sadhana. So friendship, the sakyam, atmani vedanam are very rare. So first is Vaidhi Bhakti, and then is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parasevanam, Achanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. Up to Dasyam, that is Vaidhi Bhakti. And then Sakyam Atmani Vedanam, that is Rag Marg, the spontaneous platform. Intimacy is there. So that is rarely attained, this platform. However, some wise men have considered that these two qualify as part of sadhana. So actually sadhana is of two parts, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So it may be considered also as sadhana. So, because some friendship may be there, one may feel as a sadhaka also, although one may not be highly advanced yet, and even the surrender is there. So every day getting up, going for Mangalatik, chanting japa, and so on. So that is a form of surrender, but there is a difference of surrender between the neophyte devotee and the advanced devotee. So the neophyte devotee is externally so surrendered, going to the temple, but internally he may not be yet fixed and not free from unwanted things and anarthas and desires. So therefore his surrender is not complete. Whereas an advanced devotee is surrendered completely, so in purified consciousness, naturally. And so he may sometimes not follow all the rules and regulations so strictly, because he's fully absorbed in Krishna internally. Thus it should be understood that only some rare persons performing sadhana who are almost siddha are qualified for these angas, and not all sadhakas. Tibhavana vibhave hetave akonta smriti Means that the devotee is not disturbed in his remembrance of the Lord even after hearing. Give up remembering the Lord for a second and I will give you the domination of the three worlds. Therefore this best of the Vaishnavas does not waver from the lotus feet of the Lord, which are sought but not attained by the devatas who cannot control the senses. One question.
रागन में साधन भक्ति है, इसमें जो भक्त कर रहे हैं तो वो अष्टकाली लीला के चिंतन करते हैं।
Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So the question is those who are performing Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So if they are meditating on the Ashtakali Leela of the Lord, so the eightfold pastimes of the Lord throughout the day and night in the transcendental realm, or even in this realm when Krishna is in Kishore Avastha, then there's practically no difference between his Naimitika and Nitya Leela. That Krishna is meeting with the gopis at Radhakund or at night time. So Ras Leela may be there, or Nikunja Leela. So Prabhupada has also mentioned in one place, in one purport, that we should meditate on both. The eternal pastimes of the Lord means Ashtakaliya Leela, and the pastimes of Krishna in this world known as Namitika Leela. So when one is in this world as sadhaka, so we should first try to remember the pastimes of Krishna Mahaprabhu in this world, to purify one's consciousness, like hearing about the demons which are there, being killed by Krishna. By hearing these pastimes, that the heart becomes cleansed, the anarthas will go away. And then one becomes eligible to meditate on the eternal pastimes of Krishna and Braj, according to the day and night, Ashtakaliya Leela. So, and therefore in the beginning, so one should perform one's sadhana bhakti, following rules and regulations. But then yes, one should try to enter Ragmarga, Raganuga Bhakti, but slowly but surely. So, so you finished reading Bhagavad Gita? You finished? Full? Two times, 3 times. Okay, good. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Finished one? Full time? Full?
1/2, 1 full.
1.5.
1 time full, 1 time half.
Okay, good. Bhagavatam? Not yet. Starting where? First canto, okay. Okay, keep on reading. So then, yeah. But we may hear about Raganuga Bhakti and get some knowledge. So Raganuga Bhakti means to follow the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj. So, and then trying to adopt their mood. So, as explained, first we hear about the pastimes of Krishna here, childhood pastimes, and then so Poganda Lila, and then Kishore Lila, and then Krishna going to Mathura to Dwarka, killing more demons, speaking Bhagavad Gita. So by doing that, then we may slowly but surely become eligible. So therefore, so books are there in this regards of Ashtakaliya Leela, but in beginning, there's no need to read these books yet. So first one should read Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Charitamrita, did you read? No? So Bhagavatam, then Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then one will have a strong foundation, and then one may go more up. So if you make a building, Saja, making a building, you made the foundation?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay, make the foundation and make it strong.
Yes,
And then you have the ground floor,
yes,
then the first floor,
yes,
then the second floor,
yes,
then the third floor, right?
yes.
You cannot start with the third floor, right? First you need a strong foundation. And then the first and second, then you can go to the third floor. Similarly, our foundation should be strong in bhakti, fixed in bhakti, in following rules and regulations, and so in our sadhana, in our study, in worship of the Lord, so worshipping the Lord. So that is also helpful. Not that you do a few days and then, I don't think I need to worship the deities. Right? No, but we should do regularly. So you do regularly now?
Weeks to.
Huh? Week, 2 days. You do 2 days a week? Okay. Before you were doing 3, right? And then you stopped, right? Why? Just like that. But now you do again. Okay, good. And then you keep going. So that will be helpful. So then you will have strong foundation. Then you can think of, yeah, then you may hear sometimes Ashtakali Lila. But, so therefore Rupa Goswami also, he has given a stotram or in regards to Ashtakali Lila. And so we get an idea of the 8 parts of the day and night in the spiritual world. So everything is ever present in the spiritual world, day and night. 6 seasons are there. So, but still there's a day and night also. But it is ever present. So that is explained. So in short, it is explained about the Ashtakali Lila. So we get an idea. We can do a little meditation. So, but then, so when one is not yet much purified in consciousness, so then we should not prematurely try to be absorbed in remembering the Ashtakali Lila. So there is no need. But we hear sometimes that is fine, and sometimes we can also try to remember a little bit. There is no harm. But no need to try to be absorbed or artificially thinking, okay, now I'm Gopi. I remember the gopis and I am a gopi also. Or something like that. So we have to gradually enter the realm of Raganuga Bhakti. But we hear about it, and so then if you hear about Krishna and Braj, then you remember something. And you heard about Ashtakali Lila, so if you remember a little bit something, it is fine. It is actually necessary. And then you can become more and more absorbed. But in beginning, to try to be completely absorbed in that, it will, first of all, not be possible. Second of all, also the endeavor, and so one may endeavor, but it may not be then favorable if one has still so many material desires. So therefore, so we don't have to artificially try to remember Ashtakali Lila. But the more one becomes pure, the more it will be easy and it will be natural. So, but if one is not yet, if the foundation is not yet strong, then that will not be natural, it will be artificial, trying to remember. So that we have to understand. So, on one point, if you try a little bit to remember, that's no harm. That is good, actually. But we should not try to then artificially be absorbed in that and imagine ourselves to be already a gopi or something. So that we don't have to do. Okay? Anything else?
मैं बस पूछ रहा था कि रागन व साधन भक्ति क्या है, इसे मैं करता नहीं हूँ कि ऐसे
अच्छा।
करूँ।
Okay. Okay. So, Pradeep is asking, yes, so he wants to know about Raganuga Bhakti something, and so therefore he wanted to know if he can do that. So yes, Sadhana Bhakti has to be performed. First is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and then Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Yeah. So first we should be fixed in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, like getting up early in the morning and taking bath and then, yeah, try to reduce eating and sleeping and not to sleep during the Sandhya. We never sleep during the Sandhya because also at that time the ghosts are wandering around. So anyway, it is not auspicious to sleep at this time. So that is sadhana bhakti. We don't sleep doing sandhya. And yeah. And the brahmachari actually does not sleep during the day. But of course if you are up late and then you have to get up early, then you will be tired, then you can take a little rest. Half an hour, 1 hour. But not 3 hours. Okay? So when your sadhana is good, Vaidhi sadhana, then you can think of Raganuga. Okay?
That's why in ISKCON they never allow to think, even to think of Raganuga sadhana.
So we have to be, so the golden middle way. The golden middle way. You know the golden middle way? Beach Ke Rasta. It's the best. If you're on a highway, 3-4 lines are there. And many cars are there. So best to be in the middle. Because if one side and the traffic is there, you're stuck. Either side. But if you're in the middle, traffic is there, you may go left or you may go right. So the golden middle way. So that is the good policy. So we follow rules and regulations. That is important. So Upadeshamrita, you remember? You remember Upadeshamrita? Shloka? Atyahara prayasascha niyamagraha. What is niyamagraha? Niyamagraha. So it may be in two sense. One is following the rules and regulations strictly, or too strict, and one is to neglect. Both has to be avoided. These rules and regulations not so important. Today I sleep till 7 o'clock, no problem. And next day, okay, one more day. Then tomorrow I'll be again early. So, and if sometimes a little extra rest is good, it's okay, no problem, but still. So we should not be negligent. And also too fanatic. That also we should not be too fanatic. So similarly, so not that, no Raganuga Bhakti, never, only Sadhana Bhakti, no. Because if you want to go to Golok, you want to go, yeah, then you have to do Raganuga Bhakti, otherwise you cannot go. That is explained here in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Mahaprabhu also told. So we perform Raganuga Bhakti eventually, and so we have to hear what is Raganuga Bhakti. We have to have some understanding. And then we can pray that we can enter Raganuga Bhakti, and then we can. So the path is there. So we put one foot there, on the path of Rag. So there's no harm in hearing the words. There's no harm in hearing the words or saying the word, and to think about Raganuga Bhakti. When will the day come when I'll become a Raganuga Bhakta? when will the day come I can practice Raganuga Bhakti properly. So that should be there actually. So after some time. And ultimately you have to perform Raganuga Bhakti if you want to come to the higher level, Bhav Bhakti, and then become Siddha. As also explained here, Siddha Bhakta. So we have to attain perfection. So in Braj Bhav, then you have to perform Raganuga Bhakti. So we have to learn, we have to know, but slowly but surely.
Yesterday I read one quote of the Northern Maharaj.
Acha, okay. 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 What is the quote?
Everyone want diamond, but
Huh?
everyone want diamond, but no one want to pay the cost for that.
Diamond.
Same, yes.
Acha.
Same as everyone want Krishna, but no one want to perform Vaidhi Bhakti. So how to understand?
Hare Krishna. How to understand?
You mentioned something else, like if you want Krishna or
Yes.
you want to go to Krishna Lok, that one has.
Yeah. So, and different devotees, they emphasize on different aspects of devotional service. So, some feel there's a need to emphasize more on Vaidhi Bhakti, and which is there in the beginning. Some feel that now there may be the time to emphasize to some extent Raganuga Bhakti. So if one has performed Vaidhi Bhakti for 30, 40 years, and then he should have some interest in Raganuga Bhakti, or he should become qualified to perform Raganuga Bhakti. But if not, no harm, no problem. The next lifetime he will. But he will not go to Golok if he is not performing Raganuga Bhakti. So that is there. So therefore we have to ultimately perform. And others, they may become, due to previous impressions of last life, they may quickly have an interest, and they may be qualified, and then they may perform Raganuga Bhakti very quickly because of previous impressions from last lifetime. So we don't know in the beginning who is who or what is what. But those who are more advanced, they will immediately understand. So we have seen in our society some devotees quickly, they advance, and some they advance very slowly. So
But just like you just now said, that foundation has to be strong.
yes,
So Vaidhi Bhakti also makes the foundation of the person. Then
Of
only
course.
you can step on that.
Yeah.
If you don't have Vaidhi Bhakti, you
Yeah.
cannot really understand Raganuga
No.
Bhakti also.
Yeah. But yeah, so as we
At
mentioned,
least for
so
some time, no?
Yeah.
You can go side by side.
yeah.
But you cannot just have only Raganuga and
No,
no
of course
Vaidhi.
not. That's not possible, never. So even those who have previous impressions and they may be eligible for Raganuga Bhakti, at the same time, they will, first of all, they will take birth, right? And then they go to school, kindergarten, and then the primary school, and they learn the ABC, and I, right? And then they learn how to write and how to count from 1 to 10, 1 to 100. That is there. And then automatically they will learn also in the morning you have to take a bath and you eat with your right hand. They will learn. And then when they're 10, 15 or so, then they're performing, and if they're in a Vaishnava family, then they will perform slowly but surely some devotional service, Vaidhi Bhakti. But then, when they become mature, then impressions from the last life will come. Even then they may be only 20 years old, but already, then naturally, they will have performed Vaidhi Bhakti. Because they're in a Vaishnava family. Or even if they're not born in the Vaishnava family, but if they have previous impressions, they may join the temple and immediately very enthusiastically perform Vaidhi Bhakti and go to Mangalatik, and then every day, and then learn everything quickly. And then they may, after not so much time, they may have interest, or they may have the good fortune to understand Raganuga Bhakti. So, but it is natural that one will perform Vaidhi Bhakti and then one will do Raganuga Bhakti. Because you will not see a child who is 10 years old who is doing Raganuga Bhakti and is not following the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti. It's not possible. One will have to go to school and perform Vaidhi Bhakti, and then one will do Raganuga Bhakti.
Is it that if somebody keeps doing Vaidhi Bhakti and is very inclined to Vaidhi Bhakti, then they go to Vaikuntha?
Yes, yes, if one is, that may be there, or if one is only following Vaidhi Bhakti and is not attracted to Braj and to Raganuga Bhakti, and if he's attracted to Narayan, he may go to Vaikuntha. Yeah. Like even, we can see even in our society, I mean, we have seen, I know a proper disciple, so he's actually learned person in deity worship also. And then, so temples are there and Radha Krishna, and so some, of course, attraction is there. But then he was more attracted to the worship of Lakshmi Narayan. He went to South India and he learned Sanskrit and learned to worship like in South India. And like he went to Sri Rangam with the Sri Vaishnavas. And then he did puja according to them also. And even he was with them, he was putting the tilaka of the Sri Vaishnavas. But then of course, when he's with the devotees, he has this tilaka, otherwise will say, hey, what are you doing? Come on. Hey, you're rough. No, not Sahaja, if he's doing Lakshmi Narayana. No, what is there, you're not following Prabhupada. You change, so. So then when he's in the temple, he has a normal tilak, but at home he has the Sri Vaishnav tilak, because he's attracted to that. And there's nothing, no harm. Some devotees are attracted to Ram. So.
I know one Mataji that Krishnani Mataji from Delhi.
Yeah.
She was attracted to Ram.
Yeah.
She was chanting the mantra also first Harinam.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. So that is there. Then it may be natural. Yeah. Yeah. No, she left.
Then you have to go to Vaikuntha.
No,
Ayodhya. Yeah. So maybe there, and you can see some devotees, they say, yeah, well, so, yeah, we worship. Anyway, we don't worship Radha Krishna, we worship Lakshmi Narayan. So that may be there. So therefore we have to be broad-minded, open-minded, respectful, and so let everyone do according to their inclination. And we should not then judge others and, no, this is wrong, this is wrong. So that is there. That is also mentioned that if one is worshipping the Lord, but there's no rag, no spontaneous love, then one may also go to Dwarka, where Krishna is there with the queens. Even there's one devotee here. Yes, he's sometimes around. He's in his own world, but still sometimes he does some cleaning. Yeah. So he says, I'm so much attracted to Rukmini and Krishna. He wants to go to Dwarka. So let him go, no problem. So, but we want to go to Golok, and then we try to adopt the process for that. Yeah. He was making sweet also, but then, somebody complained because he didn't have second initiation yet. Always from Brahmana family, and he was Brahmini. No, he never got. Yeah. So, but then he was cooking because we didn't have anybody, So he was cooking, he was doing good actually, Kula and Rasmalai, which is not easy. But then somebody complained, why is he doing? He's not second initiated. So now he's coming less. But he's very, studious person and is very intellectual. Almost, he's over-intelligent actually. Over-intelligent. Yeah, Ashutosh. Yeah. So. Okay. Okay. That's a little late for Jaiva Dharma. 10 to 8. 10 minutes. Jaiva Dharma. Yeah. Chapter 9. So here Digambar and Advaita discussing some topics. So Advaita, so devotee of Krishna Mahaprabhu, would renounce his family, got initiated. And Digambar, he was class friend. So he was a worshipper of Durga Devi. So they asked him, Kalidas was his name, Advaita before. Have you read the Bhagavad Gita? Advaita, yes, I read it quite some time ago. Digambar, what is the nature of its philosophical teachings? Advaita, my brother, Digambar, people praise molasses only as long as they have not tasted sugar candy. Digambar, my brother, this is simply bad faith on your part. Everyone has tremendous regard for the Devi Bhagavat and the Devi Gita. You Vaishnavas are the only people who cannot even bear to hear the names of these two books. Advaita, have you read the Devi Gita? Digambar, and no, why should I lie? I was going to copy these two books, but I still have not been able to do so. So these are some people who are pretending. So this person there, here, this character in this book.
What exactly is Devi Bhagavad?
Oh, that is the glorification of Durga Devi. So that is in one of the Puranas. It is mentioned. But that is called as Rajasic. So the Puranas are actually transcendental, but some of these Puranas, so they are for those in the mode of Rajagun or Tamagun. Sometimes therefore they are addressed in this way, but they are transcendental. But these books are there to help those who are in Rajagun and Tamagun. So, no need for us to read Devi Gita and Devi Bhagavat. So we read the Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the foremost of the Puranas, Amala Purana, Sattvic Purana. So Padma Purana is also considered Sattvic Purana, and Adi Purana, and three more. Advaita, how can you say whether a book is good or bad when you have not even read it? It is my fate, and is it my fate or yours that is blind? Digambar, brother, I have been somewhat afraid of you ever since childhood. You were always very talkative, but now that you have become a Vaishnava, you are even more assertive in expressing your views. Whatever I say, you cut to pieces. Advaita, I'm certainly a worthless fool. I'm certainly a worthless fool, but I can see that there is no Shuddha Dharma apart from Vaishnava Dharma. You are always inimical to the Vaishnavas, and that is why you could not even recognize the path to your own auspiciousness. Digambar, little angry, do you claim that I cannot see the path to my own auspiciousness when I have performed so much sadhana and bhajan? I've been cutting grass all this time to feed my horse? Just look at this Tantra Sangraha that I have written. You think it was a joke to produce a book like this? You arrogantly flaunt your Vaishnavism and ridicule modern science and civilization. What am I to do about this? Come, let us go to a civilized assembly and see who will be judged right, you or me. Advaita Das wanted to be free from Digambar's undesirable association as soon as possible, so he felt that this meeting was completely non-productive. Well, brother, he said, what use will your material science and civilization be at the time of death? Digambar Kalidas, you are really a strange fellow. Will anything remain after that? As long as you are alive, you should try to acquire fame among civilized men and enjoy the 5 pleasures: wine, meat, fish, wealth, and woman. At the time of death, Mother Nistarini will arrange for you to go wherever you are meant to go. That is certain, so why are you subjecting yourself to so much tribulation at present? Where will you be when the 5 elements of this body merge with the 5 great elements of material nature? This world is Maya, Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. It is she who can award you happiness now and liberation after death. So that is the material conception. And so the worshipper of the demigods, so they are bewildered by the external energy. Nothing exists except Shakti. You have come from Shakti and you will return to Shakti in the end. Just serve Shakti and witness the power of Shakti in science. Try to increase your spiritual power through yoga discipline. In the end, you will see that there is nothing other than this imperceptible potency. Where did you get this far-fetched tale about the conscious Supreme God? You believe in such a story is making you suffer now, and I can't fathom what destination you will attain in the next life that will be superior to ours. What is the need for a personal God? Just serve Shakti, and when you merge into that Shakti, you will remain there eternally. So different persons there, so on the different level of understanding of consciousness. And so sometimes it is not possible to convince them otherwise, to bring them to a higher level also. So then we should try to avoid. So this Advaita Das also realized there's no use of talking too much with this person. So then he was trying to, somehow or other he was thinking that somehow I have to become free from this person, from this conversation which is of not much use. So, so that is mentioned in the scriptures, we should try to avoid, especially the Mayavadis, and there's no need to talk to them because it is almost impossible to convince them. Also materialistic persons are there who are simply interested in enjoying this world, and we should also try to avoid them because it is also difficult to convince them about devotional service, the path of spiritual life. But then even amongst those who are devoted to the Lord, so different devotees, they have different natures. So we should try to associate with those who are sajatiya, same mood. So then we may be able to live peacefully and grow in our spiritual life. And others who may not have the highest understanding, but so then we should not disturb them or either, unless they are receptive and they are ready to hear. But otherwise, let them be where they are, and we follow our path. But of course, those who are inimical, we try to avoid. But so and then there's no need to be too friendly with them, but we should be tatastha, not against, even those who are against us, we don't have to be against them. But we avoid them, and we should not criticize them, or so we should not try to be too much involved with them. We should be tatastha, neutral, not against them and not for them. No need to show too much affection for them also. So that is there. Asat sangatyag. So, sangatyaga sato vritte. So unwanted association should be given up, and it should be in the association of the sat, the sadhu. And then we may be able to advance better. And then, so, always enthusiastic, utsanishchay daryat. You don't know? Okay, you should learn, huh? Slowly but surely. So, always be enthusiastic, fixed, be patient. We have to be patient. Follow the principles of bhakti, first Vaidhi bhakti, and then avoid the association of those who are materialistic, and be in the association of those who are fixed, or who are more advanced. So, and ultimately we should be in the association of those who are very dear and near to Mahaprabhu, Gaur Priyajan, or Mukunda Preshta, who are very dear to Mukunda, to Krishna. So, a Shastravit, who know the scriptures, Vedantavit, knowledgeable of the Vedanta, the essence of knowledge. And then, of course, the Bhagavatam and the devotional scriptures in our line by our acharyas. Siddhanta, what is our Siddhanta? That we should know of our Sampradaya. And then Rasa Tattvavit. So eventually, so we should be in the association of those who are knowledgeable, those who have more deep love for Krishna, the Uttam Vaishnav, or if not Uttam Vaishnav, then those who are at least on the higher level of Madhyam, and then in their association that it may be easier. They can help us to solve our problem. They can help us to develop their bhakti, to come to a higher stage, slowly but surely. And so they should be Rasa Tattvavit, knowledgeable in the Rasa Shastra, in regards to Braj Bhakti. So in Ragmark, so slowly but surely. So in their association, then it will be easier to advance and to enter the Ragmarg. So that is Svajatiya. Same mood. That is beneficial. We should have the same mood. So those who have the mood which we are aspiring, so that is Braj Bhakti. And so ultimately, so that is the goal. And then, so we follow Sarana Bhakti and we pray and hope that we can enter Ragmarg. And then ultimately the goal is Bhav Bhakti. And then we may become perfect. So we want to become perfect in one lifetime, right? Yes? No? You don't want to become perfect in one lifetime? But it's okay. Okay. So yeah, but it's recognized it's maybe not so easy, right? Yeah. Not so easy. What do you think? You'll make it? You'll try, right? You try. Ho jayega. Yeah. And yes, so the point is, so ultimately we have to enter that, so we have to enter that realm. If you are 75 years old and you have not performed Raganuga Bhakti, then you will not go to Golok. Very simple. If you still think, no, Raganuga Bhakti we should not hear, then okay, don't hear, no problem. But then you will take birth again somewhere. Unless you want to go to Vaikuntha, then it's okay. You may go. Easier to go to Vaikuntha than to go to Golok. But still, it's also not easy to go to Vaikuntha. You must be qualified also to go to Vaikuntha.
Even to go to heavenly planning.
Yeah.
There should be some.
Or you want to go to heavenly planets or what?
I mean, like,
But it's true, it is not easy. Some people, they want to go, but it's not easy.
The examples we have, it's not easy.
Yeah.
yes.
And even to merge in the Brahmajyoti is not so easy.
Yes, even that is not easy.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Not to think of anything. Not to think of anything is extremely difficult.
What is
Even I tried myself. Before I joined for a little while.
for how many seconds was that?
No, well, I saw it's very difficult. I thought, forget about this kind of thing. I realized that's not the real thing. Yeah. And I'm happy to meet the devotees, but then even sometimes it's misconception. Chant Hare Krishna, but don't think of anything. Don't think of Krishna even in here sometimes.
Yes.
But you're supposed to think of Krishna when you're chanting Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Nama no different. So when you chant Hare Krishna, you should remember Krishna. Right? Constantly. But that is difficult. At least a few seconds while you chant Hare Krishna, you should remember him. And Krishna means the person Krishna. Krishna playing the flute. No Krishna in Dwarka, right? But Krishna in Braj playing the flute. Pitambara Vesh. So that Krishna we should try to remember when we chant Hare Krishna. And Krishna is not alone, but is there surrounded. Gopastri pariveshtito. So he's surrounded by the gopis. So, and he's not just standing there with, holding the flute and not doing anything. He's doing something, performing pastimes. So that should be remembered ultimately. But again, so it is not easy. First we try to chant and hear nicely, and then we try to see or remember the form of Krishna sometimes. And then reflect on the qualities of Krishna. And then you may think of certain pastime. Krishna in the morning, about to take his breakfast, and Radharani is there in the kitchen cooking for Krishna. Different sweets and so many preparations. So that is the biggest offering is there in the morning, before Krishna is going out. So we hear, and then when we chant Hare Krishna, if sometimes you can think of something. So like if you chant tomorrow morning, so then you should try to think, what did I hear yesterday? Or okay, I learned a slok. Even one time Prabhupada said, while chanting Hare Krishna, you can remember a slok of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. Sarva dharmam parijajya. So, kam saranam bhaja. You chant and you remember Krishna. So when you're preaching, you may do. I was in New York and I was learning shlokas of Bhagavad Gita as a brahmachari, and then I came back to Braj and I was still reciting shlokas of Bhagavad Gita while, on a daily basis. And then while chanting, then you also remember sometimes. Then I thought, well, I'm in Braj, I should remember Krishna in Braj, lifting Govardhan Hill. Or being there with the gopas and the cows, or at Radhakund with the gopis. I thought, okay, sometimes you chant Bhagavad Gita slok, but not so much. But still, foundation should be there. So I remember the 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, 15, 5 chapters of Bhagavad Gita by heart. Not immediately just thinking about Krishna, but thinking about in Braj or about the gopis. So first good foundation and then after. So how many slok Bhagavad Gita? How many slok? Huh? How many slok? 18, 20, okay. You have to learn a little more slokas, Bhagavad Gita. You? How many? You need to learn also more shlokas, yeah? You, how many shlokas? You?
Not so much.
Not so many. How many? 5, 10, 15?
No, not.
How many?
Maybe 5, 6.
5, 6. Okay, you can learn a few more. Okay. You?
Same, not so many.
Okay, not so many. 5, 6. Okay. You?
45 to 50.
Ah, that's better. That's good. Okay. Bhamini, how many shlokas? Oh, she's always cooking in the kitchen, or helping. Yeah. Okay. Fine, okay, no problem. Anyhow, it's at least something according to one's ability and capacity, so we should try to do. But but we should endeavor, even if one has not such a good memory, at least some shloka that is helpful also to remember shlokas. But then ultimately, especially in regards to Krishna and Braj, so we should learn. But a few shlokas from Bhagavad Gita is okay also in the beginning. And then Kasturi Tilakam Lalata Patale Vaksastale Kostubam Nasagre Valamoktitam Karatale Venu Kankanam Sarvanga Harichandanam Solitam Kante Chamuktavali Gopastri Pariveshtito Vijayate Gopala Chudamani. So then if you know the meaning, then you can remember Krishna. Kasturi Tilakam, there's tilak here on the forehead, just one dot. Some chandan mixed with the musk of the deer, very fragrant. Lalata, this is a lalat, the forehead. Vaksastali kostumam, kostumam on his chest. Nasagre varamoktidam, a pearl here, hanging here. So that means anyone has. She has a pearl, yeah. But she has a little ring is there, right? No. Nikaldi, acha. Before she had, no, right? But no pearl, but just a ring. But then Krishna is here, so ring is there, golden ring, and with the pearl is there. Yeah. And then kankanam, then bangles and the flute, and beautiful moti mala. So if you recite, and then you may remember. Of course, even you can chant, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate. See, that verse is nice. You have a notion of mercy, Krishna. You're the friend of those who are very simple, Deenhin, Dina Bandhu, those who are simple. So Krishna is very merciful, the friend of all. Even one is not so knowledgeable or simple, Krishna is still the best friend, he's the friend, and he's looking after everyone. So if you learn some slokas, you recite in front of the deities, and then you can, while chanting, then you can recite also. You see the deities, you say, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, you have your deity, and you chant this mantra. And then that will help you then when you chant, then you may remember the deity, and then you can see Krishna Nam and Krishna Roop is not different. When you chant Hare Krishna, oh my Ishtadev is there, Radhesham. And then you can chant Hare Krishna, and the mind wants to go here and there. But tell him, you tell your mind, don't think about buying a new sari or getting this or that. But then, Hey Krishna, you chant Hare Krishna, and with your mind, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpate. And then Krishna will say, oh, that's nice, thank you very much. And so then he will reciprocate. And you get Nam Ruchi, taste for the holy name. And then you're okay, then you're fine. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, fine.